During this Connected Investor Success Short, you'll hear 3 real estate investing pros explain exactly how to implement the strategies that made them millionaires. Brought to you by PrivateLenders.com, where real estate investors go to get private funding for all of their real estate investments. Make sure to check out the links in the description of this video for full lessons and free giveaways. Let's get started. Step number 1, the research. Then how to ask for the money, and then the follow-up. So let's dive into the research. I want some free money from the government. What do I do?
First things first, what I would tell anyone in any city, you want to go and definitely find out where's your housing department or who manages your housing department. Once I find out that there is a grant, every grant has to be published. It's published somewhere, and there's normally going to be a contact person. So I find that person, I talk to them about their deliverables, and then I ask for the business. What do I need to do to position myself so that I am first in line for this contract? Once I have submitted my application, let's say I've gotten that far, I've submitted my application, I am now following up with the person. Did you get it? Did you receive it? Going right back to the person who I've been in contact with just to ensure that my paperwork is there. Now I'm looking at what's the process for them notifying someone. I want to know when that happens. And if I'm selected or not selected, I still have follow-up responsibilities here. Then the second part is if I get the contract, there are specifics to any contract that you have, grant or any kind of funds, that they're the deliverables. Most people mess up because they don't get their paperwork or their deliverables in by the right time. So I normally go for a day before when it's due or 2 days before when it's due, and then follow up and make sure that they received it, everything is good, glad to be a partner with them. And then I also follow up when the contract is over.
Anything else you want to bring up about, the research, the ask, or the follow-up that someone should know if they're interested in doing this?
I think more investors need to pay attention to the resources that are out there that they can use to leverage what they already have or what they already know. So yes, they know about loans, and yes, they know about hard money and some private, but there are other types of grants for the end user that if investors knew a little bit more about, they could actually move their products faster.
Yeah.
If they're doing flips and things like that, that I just don't think people pay enough attention to. So me as an investor and been investing since I left New York, those were grants and free money that was on the table that I watch other people just walk right by.
The Connected Investors app connects you with investors, notifies you of available properties, helps locate cash buyers, and secure private funding to close deals. Set up in seconds to become a member of the Connected Investors social network. Now you can scroll through your main feed to find cash buyers, see investment properties not available to the general public, and network with investors by adding your own comments to a thread to keep the conversation going. The Control Center is your connection to add properties to sell, start new discussions, connect with local investors, and even find private funding. The Notifications tab will keep you alerted to new investment properties and offers. You'll also find new friend requests to connect directly with the community to build your network. From the property marketplace, you'll be able to find, favorite, and make offers on investment properties. Download Connected Investors today to find, figure, fund, and flip investment properties on the go.
His name is Bob Diamond, and today he's going to explain exactly how to buy your first property at a tax auction. Bob, let's go over the 3 or 4 main steps, and then we'll go into exactly how to do each of those steps. So if I want to buy a property at a tax sale, what exactly do I need to do?
Really simple. So step number 1, you have to get the list of properties.
The list of properties.
Step number 2, you have to go check out the properties. Typically drive by them, do a little bit of internet research, check them out. And then step 3, bid on the properties. And either that's going to be online or it's going to be in person on the courthouse steps. Those are 3 easy steps. So get the list, see the properties, and go and bid on them.
And the last question here, what is the biggest bottleneck to you doubling your business?
Me. It's definitely me. It's my mindset and me. I just realized that what's in your brain in the 6 inches is really what limits your ability to be successful or enables you to be successful. So you always want to work on those 6 inches, fertilize it with information, have an open mind, and do things. I know that probably my biggest personal limiter is risk aversion. I do not like risk. And that's part of my attorney in me. That's why I love the overages business. I'm not putting out money for properties or anything. And, but you have to not be, like, you have to do something. And, I know that I'll tend to maybe analyze things for a little too long. So I'd encourage you to go out and try things that are within your ability. It's like not going to be a big financial disaster if you don't make it, but take the risk of doing things. And sometimes I think the risk is mental, and that, well, what if it doesn't work? I'll feel foolish. Or what if it won't work? My friends will laugh at me. So don't tell them what you're doing. That's the way to handle that, so that you don't have any risk of being embarrassed. But do things, because it's in taking action that we get to our next step. Sometimes you take action and it's like you head off this way, and then you realize, no, I should really be going, like, it's like course correction. And it's through those course corrections that we find our successful path in life. But if you never move off where you are, you'll never get anywhere.
You contribute a lot of your success both to your education and your innovation. Now, everyone on the line here, if you're listening to this, you obviously believe in education. It's important to learn. But innovation, I thought it was really interesting that you put that as one of your top habits you have to become successful. Why would you give innovation so much credit toward your success?
I think that in order to be successful and not just getting average results, you have to be innovative. I mean, you have to do things that are different than everybody else is doing. If you do what your 5 friends that make $65,000 a year each do, then guess what? You're probably going to make $65,000 a year each, and that's what you're going to make also. So yeah, you have to do something a little bit different. You have to do something maybe out of the box compared to what your friends do with their standard jobs. And that's why I think you have to be innovative. And the breakthroughs that I've had financially have been from being innovative and been from doing things that are a little bit different.
Whitney, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Before we hit the record button here, we kind of high level broke down the 3 main steps we're going to be talking about today into the verbal agreement, the contract, and paying off the contract, executing. And I liked how you broke down step 1 is the verbal agreement. Can you go ahead and tell me why you thought that was the most important part of getting started in this?
Well, you have to know where you want to go. That's super important. That's our first, it's not even binding, but that's our first mental agreement together. And once we've crossed that barrier, it's easier to take it to the written contract.
Now you're moving into step 2, getting it under contract. Is that something you're doing, or do you kind of have them just go to the attorney's office? Or
I always like to do the contract myself, and then I'll meet them at the attorney's office. The written contract is really just a chance for the conversation to continue. I don't want it to be this great buildup where you're like sick to your stomach thinking, oh, I gotta write this contract now. No, we're just filling in some blanks on a piece of paper. My papa told me that paper lay there and let you write whatever you want to on it. You can even print off a new one if you mess up.
All right, let's talk about paying off the contract.
Yes, do what you say you're going to do. People always want to say, well, what if something happens and you don't do it? Well, keep your word. That's how you're going to stay in business since 1939. If you get it amortized over 30 years, you get 360 months to pay this thing off. Even if you agree to balloon it in 15 years. If you do it in 10 years, these sellers are going to think you're a superhero.
Whitney, you contribute a lot of your success to your decision to ask yourself in 5 years, will I regret not taking this opportunity? So kind of walk me through why you think that's played such a big role in your success.
I think that really pulls you through the rough moments. Like, where do you want to be in 5 years? Not just, I'm scared to death and don't know what I'm doing right now. We all go through that. But do you want to look back in 5 years and say, man, what could have been? And that really pulls me through those valleys that we all go through. And I don't want to get to 5 years from now or 50 years from now and say, I could have helped more people. I could have done more deals, or I could have talked on more shows, or who did I leave out by holding myself back? And I don't want to leave anybody out.
Yeah, really. When you read or watch any of the inspirational videos out there on YouTube, you hear people talking about on their deathbed, they're usually, the things they regret most are the things they didn't do, the things that they didn't say. And on the last show, I said something that kind of, I surprised myself. I said, you will fail your way to success, right? Every successful person has a trail of failure behind them, but they look at it as learning experiences, not as failing. So it's great just to get in there, not be scared, and make it happen. So thanks for sharing that with us. You can also throw your name into a drawing to win our $3,000 software called PIN that pinpoints all of the best deals in any market and all of the most active buyers and private lenders as well. So it's the one piece of software you need to find any type of deal, whether it's an apartment complex or a single family house. If you're looking for it, it's inside PIN, and we're going to give it to one of our lucky listeners who visit exactlyhow.com. If you're watching this live, go ahead and go there right now. We haven't picked the name yet. Throw your name into the hat and you might be walking away with this software.